Hello and welcome to the video with me, Winner and Jade, with another video of Weekly Andrew, in which, only got two anime to talk about this week, as well, that's all that was left the previous season's anime, and I'm not going to bother trying to talk about anything that started so far, considering it's only really a handful of anime that started so far for this season. But, starting off with Mashle. I think it was at least a decent comedy anime. Which was mostly just due to the deadpan comedy with MASH, basically, and that's it. And I also guess it's kind of a parody as well of stuff like Harry Potter and One Punch Man, I guess, and maybe some other stuff as well. But yeah, it was decent. That's all I'll really say for that. Also, second season announced for winter 2024, so half a year, I guess. Actually, yeah, it's half a year. So, yeah, don't have anything else to say for that. So, moving on to Kamikatsu, which is the biggest shit show I have seen in a while, and it was absolutely amazing. And don't know why my camera keeps going out of focus. There we go. But Kamikatsu is a comedy before anything else, without question. Though it does have a good, interesting story to go along with it and everything, but it's just mostly comedy. That's it, for the most part. Considering the whole sex cults that's in the dark thing, and the intentionally bad CGI, which is very. They kind of made it clear that it's just completely intentional with how bad it is. Especially when they went and did this. But yeah, it's genuinely kind of entertaining and has an interesting story. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure the main reason why it's so shit is because the studio just didn't have that much of a budget, I think. So they just took what budget they had and went wild with it. Try and make it as entertaining as possible, and they did a good job at that. But yeah, that's the anime done, so I guess I'll go on to Lessons in Love since I got around to playing it, with version 31 being released and 32 has actually already been released to supporters, so a few weeks on that, I guess. And it'll be public, and I'll have that to go over as well. But yeah, 24 events on this one, 3 main events, 4 for Nodoka, 4 for Toka, 4 for Makoto, 3 for Ami, 3 for Kaori, and 3 for Rika. And the order I went through them is 1 Makoto, 1 Toka, 1 Makoto, 3 Toka, 2 Makoto, 4 Nodoka, 1 main event, 1 for Kaori, 1 main event again, 3 for Rika, 1 Ami, Kaori, Ami, main. Kind of had to keep going back and forward between things, because that's just because the requirements and for events and stuff. But yeah, kind of going in order of things. I did things here, so starting off with Makoto. Makoto is making Sensei actually sign papers and do work for once, and yeah. Not that much going on in the first half of that event, I feel like, to be honest, but yeah. She's doing much better mentally and stuff, which is great. She's mostly back to normal, though she's never going to be completely back to normal, considering it's kind of hard to do for her to get to that point again. But yeah, Makoto brings Sensei up to the rooftop again and asks him to close his eyes again, and then she kisses Sensei. Now, it's at that point that I actually realized what the little poem at the beginning of the event was actually kind of talking about, with red birds and blue birds. Yeah, first time Makoto brought Sensei up to the rooftop, the event was called Blue Jay. This time it's called Young Cardinal. So yeah, red birds and blue birds. She's no longer Blue Jay, she's a young cardinal. Which is good, because I don't think we want to see what happens previously happen again. Yeah. Well, that was beginning of Makoto's thing there, so Toka, Sensei goes to the archery range to talk to Toka, in which, in that whole little conversation Sensei has there, we learn that Tsubasa has kind of been keeping Toka in the dark about the whole plan to get Chica to move into the apartment. And yeah, Sensei kind of explains that he isn't really on board with the plan and stuff, which leads to him telling Toka about the whole misunderstanding Chica has when it comes to their relationship. In which Toka actually just gives advice. So, yeah, guess the plan's going through and stuff. We're not really going to be seeing much of the apartments from Sensei himself, I guess, since Chica's going to be there. Unless that's he wants to fuck everything up, that is. But, yeah, next thing, Sensei goes to the pool to check on Makoto, and Miku's also there, who already knows all about the whole kiss on the rooftop and stuff there. Miku doesn't take very long before Miku ends up coming up with an excuse to leave, saying that she has plans with Kirin when she's actually going to Io, which Sensei tells her to say hi to Io. And yeah, Makoto of course asks why Sensei brought up Io, and Sensei goes on to hint once again to Makoto about what's going on between Miku and Io without actually saying anything himself. In which, of course, Makoto still doesn't get. And she's just putting it up to stress currently. Yeah, Makoto really needs to get things under control there. Intervene in that. But she can't as long as she doesn't know. But, yeah, back to Toka. Sensei tags along with Toka as she's leaving to go to a family meeting. In which it's actually just family time, basically, with Tsubasa lied about to get Toka to actually show up. So, and because Toka brought along Sensei, Tsubasa lets them both spend more time together. In which, when Sensei does eventually leave, Toka and Tsubasa finally get their little family time. In which they have a bit of a long talk about stuff like the whole reason why Tsubasa is actually doing this whole family time thing because of Sagasa. The whole plan for Chica to move to the apartment, discussing that, and also eventually ends up with Tsubasa encouraging Toka to advance her relationship with Sensei. Yeah, Tsubasa's weird. Manipulative and weird. But, yeah. I think that actually covers all of Toka's events, so, yeah. Next one should be finishing Makoto's, yeah. Sensei goes to Makoto in Miku's dorm room and spends time with Makoto there. You know what, Sensei finally actually gets to ask her about how Yumi got back into school and stuff, since he never really got an explanation on that. And after Makoto explains that stuff, she asks Sensei why he's so interested all of a sudden since he didn't seem to care at the time, in which he jokes about him being busy resetting the world and stuff, because he was. And after a moment, he realizes that Makoto isn't changing the subject. And while trying to explain things to her, Sensei eventually asks her to ask Miku about the whole into the world and stuff, in which Miku just keeps repeating the same things over and over and over again, which is actually the first time we've really seen that, considering normally it's just one time you just give up. But try it over and over and over, well, they're just going to keep repeating the same damn thing until you give up, apparently. In which, at that point, Makoto finally realizes his whole inconsistency with her memories and the fact that she's been in the same school year for multiple years. Yeah. In which Sensei quickly sets up a meeting with Maya and Ayane to explain things to them, and they can explain stuff to the new prospective member of the Rooftop Apocalypse Squad. Yeah, looks like Makoto's gonna be joining the Rooftop Apocalypse Squad now. Nice, I guess. But that's those done, so now on to Nodoka, who calls Sensei, invites him to join her with Rin and Otaha, and says that they're going to be taking a detour first, at first, which is actually just her going to doing a book signing for her newest release, in which that book she just released is basically just Lessons in Love, which of course kind of causes Rin and Otal to confront her afterwards about due to the whole breaching privacy and stuff there. But yeah, I'm really starting to think Notica is basically kind of to some degree a self-insert for Celibus, the developer of the game here. I'm really starting to think that. But yeah, later on, during a conversation, Ota ends up revealing Sensei's name, which causes Noda to become quite quiet for some reason. Don't generally know that. Why yet? Well, Rin's still just trying to come to terms, kind of, and just surprised that Sensei has a name. Good old Rin. The whole group goes to the hotel. Nautica sets up Rin and Ota with her hotel room, which is right next to the one that she got for herself and Sensei, in which Nautica manages to convince Sensei to have sex with her, which ends up leading to Rin and Ota doing their own thing in their room, which was basically the main goal for Nautica's main goal for the outing in first place, was gets Rin and Ota to do that and finally start their physical relationship. Yeah. Next thing, Kaori. Sensei decides to call Kaori, and she says that she's found a treasure map, which and makes him tag along with her. And while looking for the treasure and stuff there, Sensei and Kaori having conversation, which starts repeating over and over and over again. And Sensei eventually demands to see the map, which just to see that the map was literally just a kanji character. Yeah, Katori's not the brightest tool and shit, I guess. But after finally leaving the forest, they end up running into a little girl who is wearing a hoodie that has the kanji character on it. And also she has eyes that match the colors of Ami's and Maya's eyes, and also she can't speak. So, mute, I guess. And Kaori goes on to adopt her, and names her Now, which is apparently that's the kanji character or something. And with that, we apparently have the entire cast for the game now, going by some of the dialogue at the end of the event. So, a total of 20 main characters and 15 side characters. That's the entire cast, apparently. But, yeah, now for Rika stuff, which is just going to be very short here. Sensei spends time with Rika. Okay, that's basically all the events really are. In one of those, she is hired to be the club advisor for the Light Music Club, which is Rin Ota's club stuff there. And, yeah, Rika's events, they're basically just her and Sensei talking about stuff for the most part. Not really anything important out there for me to really mention, I feel like, so moving on. And yeah, Sensei goes to see Ami at the maid cafe and drags him into the breaking room. And yeah, I kind of cropped that image there. Sensei ends up bringing up that she's been a bit too protective of him lately. In which at that point, kind of Chika and Uta walk in, with Uta giving Chika a whole tour and stuff, because, well, Chika kind of thinking about changing jobs and stuff now. So we finally got something going there, finally. But yeah, after they leave, Sensei kind of reprimands Ami about how rude she is being for absolutely no reason to them, basically. Yeah, Ami's kind of getting a bit crazy, which you'll see even more later. But now for the final stuff here, considering the other stuff between that event and this, I don't really feel like was best place to mention, I guess. But yeah, Sensei visits Kaori to check how well she's doing when it comes to teaching now. And they both have a little talk outside, and for some reason, Kaori's eyes start turning red. And she eventually ends up pushing Sensei up against the wall and kisses him. And which she apparently blacked out like Sensei normally does there. So, yeah, a bit weird. Now, apparently Kaori is blacking out as well. when he recently learned that apparently Sarah was also doing that, and possibly even now Santa. But as Sensei is walking home, he gets a call from Ami saying that she's lost in the old district. And when Sensei gets there, she tells him that Ayane and Maya invite her there. Meanwhile, Maya and Ayane are waiting at a shrine, having been apparently called there by Ami. Yeah, something's going on there very clearly. And in the whole instance there, Maya kind of reveals to Ayane that for whatever reason, when Ami learns about the resets, she becomes violent and she has seen her kill everyone else, kill all the other girls, with an exception to ones from the Komonomi Academy because they've never been there before. This is still the first time they've been in the picture and stuff, so Maya's seen 12 of the 20 guilds by Ami. And Diane does admit that she kind of joked about the resets around her before, though going back to one of the previous events I skipped over when it comes to Ami. Um, yeah. Apparently Makoto kinda said something about the resets to Ami, cause I guess Ayane and Maya forgot to tell her to not mention things to Ami. So, yeah, I think I guess that the changes going on right now is because of Makoto accidentally saying that to Ami. But upon Ami telling Sensei that Makoto told her about the stuff, he goes on to talk about it himself. Though Ami ends up just completely disregarding the idea and thinking it's a joke, basically. So, yeah. Back to the whole time with thing with Maya and Ayane, we get a narrator start talking, which is seemingly talking to Sensei or something, or to us, the player. That's saying that he's smart enough to know that someone is lying, or even everyone is lying, but there is at least one person that he can trust, which is apparently everywhere and dressed in blue. Yeah, I don't know who that could possibly be, considering who exactly is everywhere and dressed in blue. There aren't even that many characters I think that are dressed in blue, unless it's not actually one of the characters that we know of. And this is like another thing that I honestly hope it's not. The god or whatever that's in this world. But, yeah. Things are kind of starting to fall apart by the looks of it, which ain't great. But yeah, that's the end of the stuff that was in this update. And we now gotta wait for another few weeks, I guess, before I can get around to the next one when it goes public. But yeah, got Terra Motel for next week I'll be doing, since it got an update and stuff. But yeah, that stuff's done. Few other things I'm going to mention. Going back to anime, we finally got some news for Spice and Wolf. It's a remake, considering it's now actually been confirmed that's going to be a remake, which is going to be airing in 2024. So, hey, I got something to look forward to in 2024, that's for sure. Don't know exactly what season yet, but it's going to be sometime next year, which is great. And from what I can see in the trailer, it's going to be good, considering it seems to be showing more of the whole festival that's going on in the village at the beginning of the story, which I don't remember really being in the original anime. So, from what I can tell just from the trailer, the story is going to be a bit slower paced, which is great, considering we'll get more stuff that was cut out in the original. And we, of course, will be going to be getting volume 4 or 3 or whichever one it was skipped. Don't exactly remember. I know it was 3 or 4 that got skipped. But yeah, considering the fact that it's getting a remake now, after the story is actually finished and stuff, I would take a guess that it's going to be a full adaptation. We're going to get a second season, third season, or however many it's going to take to actually fully adapt the story. At a guess. Considering the story's finished already. The only thing It's just that it's kind of got rebooted as a bit of a side story to Wolf and Parchment. So, main story for Wolf, Spice and Wolf is done. It's just being continued as a side story to Wolf and Parchment, its sequel. But yeah, Spice and Wolf story is done, basically. So, they're making a remake, so I'm assuming that's going to end up being a full adaptation that continues to tell its stories over there. Yeah. Hopefully at least it's going to be that. Another thing, Mashuko Tensei. Episode 0 and stuff for this thing here so far. And yeah, I don't need a recap from what I can tell because somehow I still remember everything in the story despite the fact that it's aired that the first season ended a year and a half ago. I don't really understand how I actually still remember everything, considering the fact that I kind of have to think for a moment just to remember what happens in an episode of anime from the previous week. So I guess that just goes to show how good the story of Mishiko Tensei is. The fact that I still remember the darn thing a year and a half later. Yeah. But, yeah. Delays when it comes to anime from winter, I think. We have been confirmed that the Misfit of Demon King Academy second season is going to be airing, and also Nier Automata. Those are both going to be coming back in this season. No, I don't really know about Kashi Triangle yet. Actually, it's summer. Yeah. I guess most of the anime, if not all of them, that were in winter that got delays are going to be continuing this season, I guess. Maybe. Hmm. It'd be nice if they do, considering I kind of want to finish start things finally. And the one last thing that I actually kind of forgot is the fact I actually hit 200 subscribers. I actually forgot to mention that before I ended the recording the video, so I'll just put this in right before the end. So, yeah, 200 subs. Nice, I guess. Especially considering the fact that I basically managed to do that in just over a year, after it took multiple years for the first 100. Yeah, doing pretty well, especially with the whole Russia series that's basically over now for Age of History 2. Seriously didn't expect that thing to be doing as well as it is, considering it's Russia. Don't think YouTube would really like anything to do with Russia right now. But yeah, there you go. But, yeah. I think I've been talking long enough here, so I'm just going to go ahead and end the fucking episode here. So, yeah. That's there. It's the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you all on the next video. Bye-bye.